Okay, so I just finished watching The Suicide Squad on HBO Max, and I think I want to talk about it. I just want to talk to you about what I just watched. I just finished watching The Suicide Squad less than 10 minutes ago, and I wanted to get up here and create my video because as of right now, I haven't watched any reviews. I haven't read any reviews. I haven't even looked at the Rotten Tomato score. So I wanted to make sure that I do my video without any outside influence, without knowing what other people think about it, because I'm not sure if my thoughts on this movie will be the same as everyone else's. If it is, then it is. But if it's not, I don't want, I don't want to watch something else and then that other thing that I watch or read change my actual thoughts, change the way I'm feeling about this movie right now. Okay, so I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm just going to basically talk about my thoughts about the movie, give you a gist of what the movie is about and how I felt about the movie and what I thought about what went on in this movie. So basically, the movie is very similar to the first one. If you saw the first Suicide Squad movie, basically you have Amanda Waller and she gathered a bunch of what is normally villains from the DC universe, and she gathered them together and she sends them on a mission for something. She runs like some kind of covert undercover operation, you know. Before I continue on, if you like to see more videos and stuff about movie reviews, TV show reviews, Netflix, in the theater, whatever, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I always post a lot of videos. I try to do at least one video weekly, sometimes two or three. But go ahead and subscribe to this channel, the DL Jones Show, and make sure you give it a thumbs up, a like, so this video could get shown to more people. So she gathers these villains, and the way that she does it is these villains usually are all in prison, and she injects them with some kind of explosive in the back of their neck so that if they go off course or they decide not to do it or they don't follow her rules, she got a button she'll press and it'll kill them. So that's how she keeps them in track. So like the first one, she gathered a bunch of villains together to go and do this mission, this top secret mission. And usually a movie like this, what the interest in a movie like this is to just see these villains, all of these different personalities and different types of characters working with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like you have in the first one, it was a couple of carryovers from the first one. You had Harley Quinn, she was in the first one and she's in this one. And then you also had Jack Flag or Jake Flag or whatever his name is. He was in the first one. He's also in this one. But I think all of the other characters are pretty much new characters, Polka Dot Man, the Weasel, the Shark, King Shark, Deathstroke. It's just ton of characters in them. So it was interesting to see how all of these characters were going to interact with each other and how everything was going to work out. It just seemed pretty cool to just see all of these different characters, different villains. Some of them just seemed like completely absurd and some of them seemed like, pretty cool characters and stuff. But the fun part is just to see these characters interact with each other and go about this mission that they're pretty much forced to do, So this one was the same way, Amanda Waller, she has this mission she wants to send all of these characters on. And of course, the movie starts off with her like going to a couple of characters, showing like maybe a brief little background of that character and how she was able to convince that character to join the mission. Some of the characters couldn't wait to do it and some of them didn't want to do it. Of course, you remember from the trailers, one of the big things that they the one that they kind of went into that person's background the most was Idris Elba's character, Deathstroke. They brought in his daughter and all of this kind of stuff, and all of that was in the trailer. It was no surprise. It happened in the movie just as it did in the trailer. Pretty much they almost showed every instance of his backstory with his daughter in the trailer, But it was, you have that, and then you got Painkiller, who was played by John Cena, which of course, if you've been keeping up with all of the news and stuff, they've already greenlit a TV series based on that character. Peacemaker, I think is his name. You know, they already greenlit a series based on John Cena's character, which I think, you know, after watching this movie, I think that series is probably going to be pretty cool because the character seemed pretty cool. You know, he seemed like a goofy kind of character that I think would make for good entertainment for a, you know, kind of series, you know, of like a crazy, violent, I guess he's not a superhero. I guess he's like an anti-hero or just basically a villain or whatever, but he thinks he's a superhero. He thinks he's doing good or whatever. But yeah, that's all of that. And if you notice, I haven't really talked too much about the movie yet. I gave you the gist of what's going on, and how the movie start and the type of movie it is. And just looking at that, you know, and seeing the previews, the trailers and everything, I thought I would love this movie. You know, it seemed like it had everything that I look for in movies: action, superheroes, fights. You know, it seemed like it had everything. But I'll tell you a little secret. I did not like this movie at all. I am completely disappointed. I am so disappointed that I did not like this movie. I mean, I would say, you know, since I've been doing YouTube videos, right? See, one thing I said in a video a long time ago, one of my early videos, I said that I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that, you know, just make videos bashing stuff. So if something comes out and I just actively dislike it, I usually will not do a video on it. I've watched movies and TV shows and stuff that I've actively disliked, and I just decided not to do a video on. Most of the things that I do, I was like, you know, I like them enough. You know, I can't say that every video I've done, I've liked everything. You know, if you look at some of my videos, I've been critical of some movies and TV shows and stuff, but there hasn't been one that I've actually done a video on yet that I have disliked as much as I dislike this movie. When I was watching this movie, about halfway through this movie, I kind of felt like, you know, I was looking at this movie and I was like, I like James Gunn. You know, he was a director and I was kind of rooting for him because of all of the stuff he went through with the Twitter posts and all of that kind of stuff. And then I liked his Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you know, so I really had high hopes for this one. I kind of thought that I was either going to like it or feel like it was, you know, but I never thought I would actively dislike the movie, you know. But this movie is sort of like, when I was halfway through, I was looking at this movie and I was sort of thinking, this movie is like if you took Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, you got a cast of characters doing crazy stuff in a crazy world or whatever. If you took Guardians of the Galaxy and made it so that you didn't care about any of the characters, you didn't care about the world, you didn't care about the story, and none of the jokes hit, that would be the Suicide Squad. And that's how it is. It was like, as I'm watching this movie, it's like nothing, you know, nothing made me want to keep watching this movie other than the fact that I was planning to do this video, you know, and I had no idea I was going to be doing a video talking about how much I actively dislike the movie. Didn't know it was going to go this way. It completely took me by surprise, you know, but yeah, I have to say, I just did not have any fun at all with this movie. You know, I mean, there are some things that I could point out that were good. Like Idris Elba's character, he was interesting, but he was generally interesting in theory because the character really didn't do a whole lot to make me, you know, they live up to what I thought I would feel about this character. Peacemaker, while I said earlier, I was like, they're making a series, and I was like, I can see them making a series of that character. It seemed like it would be interesting to see that character. And yeah, there's glimpses of how good that character can be, but most of the part, he was just pretty dull. In those glimpses, I can take those glimpses, those few moments, those brief seconds of brightness in that character and see that character in a TV series that would be a pretty good TV series. But overall, I just did not like the character. I mean, I can't say I disliked the character, but there just wasn't anything enough of the character or enough going on that made me care. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, it was cool at first, but after a while it was like, I just didn't care. You know, I didn't care. I just wanted the movie to be over, you know? So that's why I was saying I wanted to record my review before I watched others because I don't know what others are saying. I might be completely opposite of what everybody else is saying. And I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be honest with myself and record a review with my honest thoughts in this moment without having my thoughts like adjusted or changed because of watching what someone else said, if they said something that's different than how I'm feeling right now. You know, and I'll be honest with you, when the movie started, I was enjoying about the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. It started off pretty good. You know, it started pretty good. But once we got into the movie and the whole plot of the movie took place in that beginning scene, that beginning 10, 15 minutes of the movie was over, it just went downhill and downhill and downhill from there until, and this movie was like 2 hours and 12 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. And I would say by about the 35, 40-minute mark, I was completely ready to turn it off, you know. But I stuck through it and watched it till the end. But yeah, I just did not like this movie, you know. I feel like everything that was tried in this movie just didn't work for me. Even the action, it's funny. Sometimes you can have action, you know, really good action scenes that can make up for a movie not being as good. That happens a lot, you know, and this movie had action scenes. But the thing about the action scenes is that they felt like somebody told them they can make rated R movies, so they went overboard with it. So it wasn't even like action scenes that I can look at and be like, oh, that was cool. I just looked at it like, oh, that was just completely gratuitous. You know what I'm saying? It was just not, I wouldn't say too much, but it was like, it made me roll my eyes, you know, with some of the stuff that happened or went on in the action scenes, you know. It's sort of like they was trying to go for some sort of shock value that just completely didn't work, you know. And the comedy, you know, there was some comedy. I mean, really none of the comedy kind of hit with me. I can't think of any situations where I laughed other than, okay, there was a situation where I laughed. And the thing about it is, it was in the commercial. It was the part with, in the commercial. If you've seen the trailers, there's a scene in the trailer where Pete Davidson is sitting next to the Weasel character and he's asking, is this a dog? You know, well, that part was funny. I laughed at that part, but that's the only part I can think of, you know, that I actually thought was funny, you know. There was some characters that was pretty sweet. The rat catcher girl, she was a sweet character. I kind of got a little bit invested in that character. A little bit I got invested in that character and the story of Idris Elba and his daughter, even though I know that the whole daughter with Deathstroke thing was completely made up for the movie, at least I think, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, when it comes to that, I a little bit, you know, but even that didn't really stick with me all that much. I kept waiting for some kind of payoff that never happened. Everything you saw in the trailers is what happened in the movie with them. But yeah, the Suicide Squad, I didn't like the movie, you know. I'm going to finish, I'm going to finish this out and then I'm going to go and check out what other people are saying. I can't say I like this movie at all, you know. I would say that I actively dislike this movie. And that's hard to say. If it wasn't for the fact that this movie is a popular movie and I already said I was going to do a review on it, I wouldn't even review this movie. That's how much I did not like this movie. But yeah, pretty disappointed. I'm pretty disappointed. But yeah, if you want to, hopefully the next one I do is going to be of a movie that I liked a little better. But if you want to make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know what you think about this movie. How did you feel about this movie? Am I the only one that feel this way about this movie? You know, I guess I'll find out in a little while because I'm gonna start looking to see what other people are saying. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. How did you guys feel about this movie? I'm really disappointed. You know, I'm disappointed. But yeah, that's what I have today. That's Suicide. That's my review. I don't know if you really can call that much of a review. I guess more of my reaction. to just watching this movie. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.